Perimeter. She is a single mom, and she is here just to explain why she's decided to continue going forward in this case that's going to result in a trial, and if she's convicted, a possible 12-month sentence. And I think it's important to note that Ms. Foster has made this decision. She could have pled out. She's decided that that wouldn't be consistent with the principles and what she has, the position that she's taken from fairly early on. And as I've stated before, this is about being heard, about being treated in a way with respect. She was at the library looking for, actually on the computer doing a job search, and she was scheduled to go to a actual interview the very next day, and so she had gone to the library simply to put a jump drive in, download an address, and go about her business. And it ended up with her being arrested, spending 2 days in jail, and having to go through a great deal of anguish since her incarceration. And so she's here. She doesn't speak for herself.
Why go through all this trouble? Why not just leave when you could have with your baby?
Honestly, I just felt like so many times young mothers are misunderstood and already put a label on when they're seen, and I just felt like at some point someone has to stand up and has to say something and let them know that this isn't right, that someone deserves to be heard, and I felt like I deserved to be heard that day.
The problem is that Miss Foster actually called the police herself because she felt as though she wasn't being treated fairly, and that when the officer came, she was under the impression that when the officer arrived, he would fairly listen to both what the librarian is saying, the library supervisor, as well as Miss Foster. That's not what happened. He came out and he just acted in a way of saying, okay, let's go, get out of here, and then she's given a criminal trespass warning. So here's a document saying you are to stay off the property, not return to this property. There was no expiration date on the criminal trespass warning. It's you need to leave and not come back. That's what she received. And so then it's even a heightened sense of, well, okay, now that you've given me this document, would someone take a statement from me about what I say happened? They refused. And so at that point, I think, what would anyone else do? Would you say, well, let me talk to a supervisor? That's exactly what Ms. Foster said. I need to talk to your supervisor. And then there was still a lot of hemming and hawing about whether or not a supervisor was going to come out. I am the supervisor. So there's this power struggle. And the reality is, and one of the reasons that our firm has become involved is because we believe that there's an element of class and race that's just an undercurrent. And this is a single mom who's there pushing this child. And for some reason, she's not, I just don't imagine a traditional stay-at-home mom being treated the same way. There were other people out there. And those people we're making a plea that the other individuals that were at the library, if they would come forward, if they would contact our office, because we want to put up these other individuals who stood out, who saw what happened, both early on. There were 2 African-American men, and then I believe there was a white woman that she was actually speaking with when she was arrested.
If you're convicted, close to 12 months in jail, right? Aren't you worried about what's going to happen to your son? It seems
terrified.
Like a big deal to take,
Terrified. Completely terrified. I've been emotional. I was emotional in our final pretrial. I'm still emotional. There's been a lot weighing on me. More than